Also new at 9, the visitor center at Hobbs State Park has a new name to honor the former Arkansas senator that helped create the largest park in the natural state. 2 years after David Pryor's death, the center is being named after him. Pryor helped acquire the land in northwest Arkansas from the Hobbs Estate trustees, and in 1979, the Arkansas General Assembly allowed the state to purchase the nearly 12,000-acre estate. At today's renaming ceremony, Pryor's son, former Senator Mark Pryor, talked about his father's dedication to Arkansas.
Father had a 36-year political career here in Arkansas, but he had a 30-year post-political career. And, you know, he never stopped working. He never stopped trying to make Arkansas better. He never stopped trying to get people to collaborate and do good things for the state, do good things for the country, do good things for the world. And he was just a very special person.
David Pryor became the governor in 1975 and served one term before being elected to the U.S. Senate, where he served for 18 years. He died in 2024 when he was 89 years old.